Hi, everyone. Today, I would like to introduce our new colleague, Aggie. Aggie is the new creative lead in our company. So Aggie, welcome here.
Thank you, Letzi.
And Aggie is actually, she's a designer. And I know design and design thinking is one of the buzzwords nowadays. So I would like to talk to her a little bit about what does it mean design to her and what does it mean to be a designer. So Aggie, what does it mean, the word design for you?
I was always thinking about myself and about design, that this is a visual solution for a problem. And at the beginning of the century, we had a lot of problems and we had a lot of new solutions, like the technical revolution gave us a lot of opportunity and for all the designers. So all the big design was born like with Brown and all the big technologies. And nowadays, I think this expression, like create visual solution, it's more bigger than it was before, because visuality and creating connection with the people who are using the items, it's more important than it was ever. So I think nowadays we are more communicators and not just designers. So we are creating connection with the people who are the design for. So I think it's more communication and create solutions like this.
Okay, so for you, it's quite personal, the whole process, what you are, what we are calling designing something.
Yeah, it should be personal because the first point of being a designer is empathy. You should be empathic with all the things you are doing, like your target group, your sales number. We need to take care of a lot of things. We are not just creating ideas and drawing all the day. We need to be aware of a lot of other things too. And the empathy is the 0 point that you need to get to know your audience, let's say your audience and the people who you are designing for. So yes, it's really personal.
Okay, so for you, mean to be a designer, it's mean you are an empathic soul that who can understand the surrounding environment and the people who are using that environment or being that environment, and then figure it out the best possible solution for them.
Exactly, and also you need to be curious as well. But I think this is really an interesting thing. If you decide that you want to be a designer, I think you can study how to be empathic. I mean, you can create a method for yourself that how will you be really empathic regarding the points. But having the curiosity and having the how to say the spirit to do it all the time, year to year, and with all the different projects. For example, what we do in VFX, we have a lot of different projects, like all the time. And this is something what you need to born with a little bit and be empathic with this, I think, yes.
And if you try to describe the whole process, your process into the design, how you can describe it and how it's working for you?
Okay, yes, this is the method I mentioned before. For me, it's quite clear. I mean, if I got a task, for example, our team need to design a retail in-store solution for a company. The 0 point is that we need to examine that what brand is it, what we are working for, what was the purpose of the visuality of the brand, and what is the target group and how the target group's behavior is working like all the time. How are they going to connect with the products we are supposed to advertise? And it's really, it could be a linear line, like starting with research. And I mean research with your empathy size and with your researcher side as well. So you should not be only just putting everything in data and in numbers. You should have your intuition about the things and putting materials together and really feel what they should feel. And I mean both sides, the target group side and also your client side. And so this is the 0 point, that you really get together with these things. And after you start to really do the research and take the numbers, like the sales data, the advertisement data, that what target group is like what and which time do they like and how do they like, what is the trends. It's really important to do the research of the trends, because the people are getting more familiar and they start to like things what they already know. So this is really interesting also, that creates something super new from zero. That will be a big bump, but maybe it won't be successful. So you really need to know what is the trends, or what are the trends also. And after you start to sketching, drawing, and develop the product, I always say that you need to have intuition, you need to have your ideas, the creativity, but really the work will develop the final solution. So you need to cooperate with the material. You need to cooperate with all the people who are working with the material. So you should be always the product owner as well, not just a designer.
Okay, but for this, that's mean you want to interact in the beginning a lot with the customer, right? So you want to understand what their environment is, what their real problem is, and to figure it out the best possible solution for them, right?
Yes, I think it's really important, the sociology background of the target groups, or not just the target groups, our sociology at all. I'm sorry, it's a really complicated word. So even in Hungarian too. So it's really, I think it's really important to put time and effort into this too. Yes.
And where do you see the gaps in this process? So what do you think, how would be a better support for the customer? What where do you see the differences? What you need and what you got actually from them?
It's really
to figure it out, a better response, or a most effective or a more effective response for them, of course.
I see your question. I think it's really the same process like knowing yourself. I think it's really useful and good for a designer if the brand is really knows itself. I mean, they are familiar with their customers, and they are putting effort with the numbers and with the research, that how their customers is behaving and how are they going to change, because the future is always more interesting than the present. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really helpful if we can create, how to say, a profile, but a sociology profile, not just a visuality profile as well. And also that's really, I really like, for example, if we get a brief, I really like to ask our customers, our clients, that what do they like, but I also like to ask what do they don't like. Because I think if it's a client or a person, it doesn't matter. If someone knows that what does he or she likes, or what does he or she doesn't like, that's also 50% important, because like this, as a designer, you can create the balance of the visuality, and it's really, I think it's important as well. So if I would need to summarize, I would say that the knowledge, it's crucial. The knowledge of the brand and the future, and having the plan, it's really important. I mean, it's really hard to design for someone who doesn't have the vision of its own brand.
But as a designer, through the question, can you help for a customer to figure it out actually what he or she wants actually?
Yes, of course, because this is another thing, that most of the people, they believe things and they start to imagine things after that they see something. So it's really not a big surprise that the people are starting to imagine their brands after that we show them something. So sometimes this process is really it's like goes in the front and go back. You know, it's like we say it in Hungarian, tiki tuki. But yes, sometimes it's really like going and going back. It's like this. So yes, this is also our task. If the client doesn't know what does he or she wants, we should offer them possibilities, and then we can move forward with this, because the people are really starting to believe something after that they see the first step. So yes, of course, and this is our task as well.
So, but what would be your advice for somebody before starting something like a design project, before she or he is starting that project? What would be your advice to help them to be better or more efficient in this?
Yes, I would say that first of all, create a vision with the target group. So just write down everything what comes into their mind. Really write them down, everything what's comes into their mind, and do the research. Like do the research with every related item which is possible. Have most of the data what is possible, like what kind of companies are similar. If they are similar, why are they similar? Do I want to do that way, or I want to do in a different way? And also create two boards, just like I mentioned before, that with all the things I like and with all the things I don't like. I would suggest this for them.
Okay, and let's speak about a little bit when we move forward. So we know all the background, and we did the research, and we have the first sketches, and we are when as a designer you are talking about in more detail about that, how you are moving forward. So how you are choosing any kind of material, or how is the process look like from somebody who is not involved in this magic process?
I see. At this point, we generally know the budget. If we are super lucky, we know the budget. So from this point, as a designer, you need to always have the budget floating on the surface. So that's really a crucial point. And we start to work with materials and with all the people who are working with materials. And this is what I really like in Bayflex, that we have the production here actually behind me too. So this really good that we start to actually negotiate between the materials and trying them out. So at this point, we need to find the greatest visual solution, but within the budget. This is really one of the most important points of the designing process.
Okay, and nowadays the sustainable materials and the green materials and green everything, it's also a buzzword, and it's very popular, and it's very important for everybody. How is connecting how do you see how is connecting this whole sustainability with your work, or with the whole design world?
I think this is also a responsibility of a designer, that we should be the ones who know which kind of sustainable materials available, and should be always in front of our nose, and we have to design these kind of materials inside the project as much as possible. And this is our responsibility as well, to find the greatest solution and primary from sustainable materials. For example, with paper displays, we use a lot of sustainable materials, and we always trying to keep put this in the front, like using sustainable materials. And this is also really important to keep this in our mind. And it has another part as well, that we should research all the time. So we are not just trying, I think we should not just trying always use them, but we should search them and combine them and create new solutions with them, and reduce all of the not sustainable solutions as much as possible.
Okay, so personally for you, it's also important the sustainability and how we can use these kind of materials, right?
Yes, mainly that our production is massive. So with these numbers, we should really take care of this point as well. Yes.
And how do you see all around the world the whole situation of sustainability and using these materials and technologies in now and in the near future?
I see that we have tons of great solutions. I mean, you can find a smaller amount solutions with a massive production, and you can find like thousands of great solutions, but small production. Mm-hmm. I think create sustainable products in a massive way. It's really hard because of the production of the sustainable materials. So the question is not that do we have enough sustainable materials, because we have a lot of sustainable solutions and materials. The question is that how are we going to maintain this, that we could have like in the next 20, 30 years, these kind of sustainable materials like constantly. This is one part. And the other part is that how are we going to get used to it, you know, in the market, that it should like you got used to it, that you are selected your trash. 10 years ago it was impossible, but during 10 years we did it, and this is the same process, but with the bigger bomb and with the massive production. So the question is that how long does it take to get to this point? And as a designer, how can I create this kind of habit with these visual solutions, what we offer like day by day for our client?
Do you think that's with the sustainable design, the client needs to reduce their needs or the demands because of this to be a sustainable design, or is just an educational process to educate the market and educate the customers that this could be the same and this could be the same feeling of, and it's a better communication point with their customers?
I think it's both. I mean, if you do a project and you show the difference, then you educate as well. I think if we can get the possibility to show that the sustainable material will be even better or the same like the original was before, I really think that our customers and our clients will go with the sustainable stuff, because I really think that nowadays it's in everybody's mind, but we are in the process that we need to have possibilities to show that this is going to work, and this is going to work with massive production as well.
Okay, and moving forward a bit, after we choose the material, we choose the technology, the design, it's done. How does it look, the process after that?
Sorry, can you repeat it? I'm sorry, I lost.
Yeah, so just when we have the material and when we have the budget and everything. So how does it look when you are really finalize the last fine details, the last 5% of the project, which mainly the last 5%, which is like, okay, oh, I need only the last 5%, is going to be easy, but sometimes that's the game changer. That's last 5% when all the details is just going to the right spot, or just the last curve, or the last logo on the display or whatever. So
yes.
I know this is only the last 5%, but sometimes this is one of the most important part of the project.
Yes, of course, it depends that which kind of brand are we talking about, but of course, yes, it is. After that, the production is not the production, but okay, let's say we are trying to make mock-ups, and the mock-ups will show also a lot of new possibilities most of the time. And it's really, I love this part of the design, because creating the mock-ups, it gives you, when you do the mock-ups, you want to start all over again the whole project, because you will figure out a lot of things. So it's really, really exciting. And we will start to work with the materials and all the masteries what we have. So you start to really develop the things what was before in your mind. And basically, if you do something, just a construction or something what was never exist before, you will have always some surprises. So you will need to modify your design a little bit. And also your client will modify the design a little bit. But this is quite a normal process. If you are a designer, you got used to this, and you really enjoy this, because this is the part of the plan and the whole process. So we start to make mock-ups, and if the mock-ups work, then we try it in Bayflex. Mainly we are working and trying them out. If it's needed, we try them out for 1 week, for 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. It depends on the product, but it's really important to try them out. And then we will try to do the massive production. And this is also an interesting point, because some of the design process is, the biggest part could be adapting the product for the massive production. So you can win a lot of seconds, like minutes, or a lot of time with your masters and with the workers who are working with the product, if you design a little bit more smarter, and even more smarter than you designed before. So this is the designer's work is going until we are packing the products, because
It
the
seems
packaging
like
is
it's a
also another.
never-ending story.
Yes, exactly. Because yes, the packaging is the part of the plan. You need to, that's another environment you need to design for. We have the product, you need to create the good packaging, and then the product will travel. During the university, when we started the project, mainly at the beginning, some of my teachers told me that if you are a designer, you really need to think through all the points of your product, that how this product is going to live from the really beginning till the end. So you need to think through what is going to happen with the product, and then you will need to be aware of all the certain points. It's like a lifeline, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This is the zero line when you got the task, and the end, it's like when the product is finished and delivered, and it's doing its job. So it's a long line, and you need to be aware and think through all the points.
And personally, which is your favorite part of the design process?
Yes, my favorite part is the beginning. I really like to do the research and the social content, just to say that, discover the target group, and see the brand visuality, and how is it going to see at the beginning that maybe how is it going to evolve during the process. And of course, the sketching part, I really love that. And after that, I like the mock-up parts and working with the materials. So yes, I was drawing here in the aeroline. So now I'm continuing doing this. I like this part. And I like modeling and doing the renderings and all these things as well. But I really like more working with the mock-ups and the materials.
So from outside, sometimes, you know, the people who are not just involving in it, they are just seeing the magic happens, because we are giving a brief for a designer, and end of the day it's coming up something which we like. So
yes.
This is really something, you know, the whole process is much more complicated, and it's much more work, not just laying down and smoking weeds and figure it out the best possible solution. It's more like you have to sweat and you know, work, fail, and try again to figure it out.
Yes,
A
exactly.
better solution.
With endless curiosity, of course, because otherwise nothing is going to happen. Yes.
So that's the burn. That's why you have to burn for to be a designer, right?
Yes, I think yes. I really like to be like this.
And what would be your advice for somebody who is just want to be a designer? They are starting, just he or she is starting the school now, or what would be your advice for them?
I would advise them that stay always open for everything, because if they have the creativity in their mind going to learn how to connect the things. What we need to assure for ourselves to stay always open for everything and stay always curious and not to be afraid of failing and creating mistakes, because actually being a designer, it's one of the most important things to create mistakes or do mistakes, because we learn a lot and our brain is going to solve them, and we need to trust in our creativity. Stay open, trust your creativity, and don't be afraid of failing of anything, basically, and do mistakes.
That's great, Aggie, and I hope that will listen a lot of people who are planning to be a designer. And I think this is a great advice. Not just a designer, but I can say that from the company point of or managing a company is also the same. So
Yes, exactly.
be open and don't afraid to fail. So thank you very much, Aggie, the interview today, and I hope we can continue with some other topics.